The Boys Season 4 has taken a thrilling turn, leaving viewers with a cliffhanger in Episode 3 that hints at a deep dive into Homelander's past. The psychotic Supe leader plans to revisit the Vought Lab facility, the place where he was created and grew up. This seemingly simple act carries significant weight, hinting at a desperate attempt by Homelander to confront his past and potentially shed his remaining humanity. The episode throws a series of blows to Homelander's already fragile ego. He uncovers a traitor within Vought, a power struggle that leaves him feeling vulnerable. Additionally, he catches his son Ryan sneaking out to meet Billy Butcher, a clear sign of defiance. These events trigger a deep-seated insecurity within Homelander. He lashes out at Ryan, his voice laced with rage and disappointment. Looking into the mirror, Homelander sees fractured reflections of himself, representing the conflicting parts of his personality. Some parts condemn his vulnerability and yearn for him to be a symbol of pure strength. Another part longs to mend things with Ryan. Ultimately, Homelander decides to eliminate these weaknesses by going back to the start. The flashbacks themselves are cryptic glimpses into a horrifying childhood. Ominous red doors, surgical tools, and a fleeting image of a woman hint at a dark upbringing filled with experimentation and devoid of love. These snippets suggest a more direct exploration of Homelander's origin story in Season 4, a story that has been a mystery until now. Homelander's trip back to the Vought Lab is a big deal for a few reasons. First, it might answer questions about his messed-up childhood. We know he didn't have a loving upbringing, which explains his need for attention and his mean streak. The lab is where John turned into Homelander. It wasn't a happy place. Think of creepy experiments and zero love. This messed John up big time and made him the monster we see today. Homelander might be going back to understand how he became so messed up, or even try to do the whole experiment again, which could be super bad news. Secondly, this storyline offers a chance to understand Homelander's vulnerabilities and Vought's role in shaping him. The series has alluded to the psychological damage inflicted upon him, and his return to the lab suggests a confrontation with those who created him. This exploration could expose Vought as the true villain, a corporation that prioritizes profit and power over human lives, effectively turning a young John into a weapon. There is a chilling possibility that Homelander might seek revenge on those who perpetrated the horrors of the Vought Lab. He might want to confront the scientists who molded him into a weapon, or perhaps even eliminate any remaining traces of the program to bury his past forever. Regardless of his specific goals, one thing is certain: Homelander's return to the lab is a recipe for disaster. The emotional turmoil he's experiencing, coupled with his immense power, could have devastating consequences for himself and everyone around him. The return to the lab could also be a twisted attempt to reconnect with some semblance of a past he never had. The isolation and conditioning he endured might be the only frame of reference he has for normalcy. In a world that increasingly rejects him, the lab might represent a twisted form of comfort, a place where he felt a twisted sense of belonging. This homecoming isn't a heroic journey of self-discovery. It's a descent into a dark and potentially destructive place. Homelander doesn't grasp that true strength lies not in denying or erasing his humanity, but in confronting it and learning to manage it. His warped desire for control might lead him down a path of recreating the experiment that granted him his powers. Perhaps he seeks to understand the process, to weaponize it further, or even to inflict the same suffering he endured on others. The upcoming episodes will likely delve deeper into Homelander's motivations and the events that unfold during his visit to the Vought Lab. Will he find the answers he craves, or will this twisted pilgrimage unleash a new wave of chaos? One thing's for sure: Homelander's journey is far from over, and the consequences of his actions promise to be far-reaching and potentially world-altering. This return to the Vought Lab signifies a turning point for Homelander. It's a symbolic representation of his fractured psyche and his desperate attempt to regain control over his own narrative. Whether he emerges from this experience stronger or even more unhinged remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: the path he's on leads to a dangerous place, and the fallout will be felt by all.